Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. Just one small item and then on to today's subject, which is really going to be just reading a list, but it's a very interesting list, very perceptive list put together by, probably created by a very perceptive blogger. But before we get to that, I just want to talk about a comment I got this morning. Nothing special about the contents of the comment. It's a compliment, which I, of course, really appreciate. But what is especially unique about this comment, it's from France. It's from, I hope I get this name right, Esseram Idro. I hope I got that right. I tried to look it up on Google to get a pronunciation. I could not find one. So I hope I got that name right. But it's from France. I had no idea that my vlog was getting to France. That was the really surprising thing. But also, well, that was the good news. Now comes the bad news. The bad news is that you're going to hear in a few seconds probably the worst French accent you have ever heard. But I want to read the tweet as I got it, and then I'll give you a translation. But here we go. Bonjour depuis la France. Merci à vous pour toutes ces informations. And that means, hello from France. Thank you for all this information. To which I will say, vous êtes les bienvenus, which is, you are welcome. So I hope I didn't hurt too many French ears with that, but I wanted to try to read you what I got. So thank you very much, Esseram Idro, and I'm sorry for any damage I did to the pronunciation of your name or reading your comment. Now on to today's subject, which is about, as I said, a list. It's a comparison of liberalism and liberalism, which means, or which I mean, capital L liberalism and small l liberalism, because these days it's really we conservatives who are the small l liberals, the big L liberals. That's our friends on the left. It's just another way of saying socialism, political correctness. Sarah A. Downey. Sarah A. Downey is the blogger who put this together. I'm linking to her in the description. I'm going to give you only a partial list here, partly because I don't want to read a very long list. This is still kind of lengthy. But also because she deserves credit, and she deserves more than credit. She deserves a visit to her blog, so I'm putting the link in the description, and I would urge all of you to go to her blog and read the entire list, but also read her other entries. I'm sure they're all as interesting as this one. So anyways, here we go. Start out with just a quote of a couple of paragraphs. If you think, quote, liberal, unquote, and all the variations of, quote, left, unquote, mean the same thing, let this be your wake-up call. Many things described as, quote, liberal, unquote, today mean the opposite of what was historically true and what many people expect. And this disconnect is likely contributing to some of the heightened frustration we're seeing in political arguments in 2020. And I predict way off into the future because, well, she's right. That's a perceptive part. She's actually not the first person to say this, that so-called liberalism today is the opposite of what it used to be. But she compiled this very good list of what those differences are. So I'm just going to give you some comparisons here. Classical liberalism, which is what conservatives are, and I guess we'd call it woke or politically correct liberalism, which is what has become of our friends on the left. It's really a shame. If you've been noticing, a lot of liberals have been calling for silencing of conservatives. I'm going to cover this in more detail as a separate subject in a future vlog, but that's not what liberalism is. Liberalism is about free speech and putting all ideas out there. It's not about silencing ideas that you don't like. As a wise man said, you don't need a First Amendment. You don't need to protect speech that everybody likes and is comfortable with. It's to protect the speech that makes people uncomfortable. So now with that introduction, let's go through this partial list. Again, I urge everybody to go to her website, Sarah Downey, read the whole list. Here we go. Traditional liberalism, build new things to improve. The new liberalism, dismantle existing things to improve. Traditional liberalism, no one has the right not to be offended and to always feel comfortable. The new liberalism, everyone has the right not to be offended and to always feel comfortable. That is one of the main differences, I would say the most important difference, the attitude towards free speech and saying things, as I said a moment ago, that make people uncomfortable. Well, let's go on with the list here. Ideas exist independently from their creators' identities, behavior, and values. That's traditional liberalism. The new liberalism, ideas are inseparable from their creators' identities, behaviors, and values. Traditional liberalism, no one is immune from criticism. New liberalism, more oppressed people are immune from criticism, especially coming from less oppressed people. And of course, then there are the oppressors, which would be white males, such as myself. So I guess we are especially dangerous as far as criticizing other people. Oppressed people, you oppressed people out there, you're immune from criticism. I can't criticize you because I'm a white male. Next on the list, traditional liberalism. Debate opposing ideas so the strongest ones emerge. The new liberalism, silence opposing ideas because they can threaten people. Traditional liberalism, the pinnacle of truth is a heavily researched and well-supported scientific theory. New liberalism, the pinnacle of truth is one's lived experience. Traditional liberalism, aspire to a colorblind, merit-based society where the best person for a job wins. New liberalism, aspire to a color-obsessed, merit-blind society where jobs are distributed equally. Martin Luther King, call your office. All this content of your character, not the color of your skin, all that stuff is out. Sorry, call your office to get the new instructions. Argument and challenge can be healthy. That's traditional liberalism. The new liberalism, argument and challenge are usually toxic. Traditional liberalism, focus on the individual because they make up society. New liberalism, focus on the collective because no one exists outside of their identity groups. Traditional liberalism, your positions are private. No one can compel you to share them or interpret meaning from your silence. The new liberalism, your positions are of public concern. Others need to know where you stand and your silence can be interpreted as evidence of your beliefs. Traditional liberalism, assume that most successful people work hard for their outcomes and wealth can be deserved. The new liberalism, assume that most successful people rose up due to privileged and almost always abused their power. Traditional liberalism, prioritize equal opportunities, in other words, equality. The new liberalism, prioritize equal outcomes, in other words, equity. Traditional liberalism, feelings are just one data input. the new liberalism, feelings are the most important kind of data input. Traditional liberalism, the scientific method helps us get closer to objective truths. Under the new liberalism, though, the scientific method is just one tool and there are no objective truths. Traditional liberalism, in a perfect world, race is irrelevant. The new liberalism, in a perfect world, race is center stage and we will have a, quote, reckoning, unquote, with it. Traditional liberalism, capitalism is the best system yet discovered for creating wealth and innovation. But under the new liberalism, and I'm sure this is not going to surprise anybody who has listened to somebody such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for more than maybe half a nanosecond. But anyways, here it is in black and white, make it official. According to our new liberal friends, under the new liberalism, capitalism is inherently unfair, reinforces systemic inequalities, and must be dismantled. Traditional liberalism, large groups of people saying the same thing is suspicious and possibly dangerous. But under the new liberalism, large groups of people saying the same thing is good and possibly ideal. And finally, under traditional liberalism, anybody can live how they wish regardless of their background. But under the new liberalism, no one can shed the influence of their background in how they live. And there it is, that's the list. Again, or partial list, I urge everybody to visit Sarah's website, read the whole thing. I also urge everybody to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with anybody you think would also like the video. If you have comments or if you want to add to the list, you can do that in the comments section below the video. You can also suggest future topics, ask questions. You could subscribe. I love getting new subscribers. You could also visit my music channel where I put my own original music. There's a link in the description. I just added a new song, so where there had been 2 songs, there are now 3 songs. But most of all, I appreciate everybody spending your time with me. It's really, well, all the way from France. I mean, God, the whole world now is listening to me. Not very many of you, but the very few of you who watch my vlog, you're all over the world. And wherever you are, I really appreciate that you take time to watch and listen to me. I hope you're getting something of value from it. I especially hope to see all of you again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.